So, a couple of days ago, there was a Nintendo Switch Direct. And to open the Direct, there was a trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 3. I've seen bits and pieces of said trailer. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my headphone cord, and it's not going well. I've seen bits and pieces of the trailer, but I've not watched it fully through. Um, I do obviously know that, it's coming out. I don't know if they have a date yet, and I don't know everything in the trailer. So we're going to watch that today. And then I have some topics that we're going to talk about. They are on the right side of the screen above the yeah, they're going to be here on the right side. Anyways, let's switch over to that. Get that full screen and transition. And let's go. Quite clearly a Rathalos egg. Look at the scales. Capcom presents. Okay. There's the music. It looks amazing.
Our ignorance is proving fatal. The encroachment threatens to drive our people out of house and home.
Okay.
This divide has brought our two kingdoms to the brink of war.
And you are the sole Rathalos rider in Azuria.
My people have been driven into a corner, and the point of no return is looming before us.
Can't afford not to
Raknikadaki.
go. I cross the meridian and keep going.
Ratha again.
For long.
Magnum Hollow. I've seen that. Twisted Reflection.
I can hear them. Two sounds.
So we knew it was,
Overlapping each other.
we know it's two sounds before they even hatch. Okay. Yeah, so I've heard something about mirroring horns. That's interesting. 2026, so no actual date. Ah, it is coming to Steam as well right away. That is awesome. So, hey, we're good with that. We're fine with that. Also, they have a website out for it already. Yep. Very nice. Twin Rathalos, born in a twist of fate. Okay. We will be getting this on launch, I believe. Unless I don't foresee anything coming up. But yeah, so Stories 1, Stories 2, and Monster Hunter Portal. Yep. We have Stories 1 and 2. We are doing a playthrough of that currently. So, about the playthroughs. Monster Hunter Stories 1, we are, at this point, probably 10, 12 hours into. We are going to finish that one, and then we will be starting up Stories 2 and going from there. I've not completed either of the games. Stories 2 I actually played before this playthrough that's coming up, but Stories 1, this is my first foray into it. So Stories 2, I think I got about halfway through the game. So after that, it'll be all basically new to me as well. Like, I've not fought the final boss, I've not fought any of the DLC stuff, anything like that. So fully unaware as far as that goes. But I'm super excited to take a look at it because kind of life came up when the first one was out, so I didn't get to finish that one. Going back to the trailer, very interesting. Very looks like we have another Ratha. We had Ratha in the first one, Ratha in the second one, and there are a couple episodes that are not out yet. That as of making this video, anyways, that continue on stories. So, also, Kingdom having a civil war. That's interesting. Rachnikadaki, or maybe Pyro Rachnikadaki. Pyra Rachnikadaki. Also, obviously, Magnum Hollow. So, you know, Rise and Sunbreak monsters are valid in this new game. I don't know if they'll have anything from Wilds. It'd be interesting to see. I am hoping for some new stuff. And in that, let's go to the Monsties. As if you don't know, they're called Monsties, not monsters, for riders. So as far as the Monsties, I feel like 2, from what I remember of it, had some really good ones in there. But it had a lot of, so like, it had Basarios, and it had like Ruby Basarios, I believe. Stuff like that. I'd like to see less of that. Even maybe just drop the normal monster and just have like Ruby Basarios. You know, maybe just some of the subspecies and stuff like that rather than the normal variants. I think we should get some more of the lower tier monsters as well to really let them shine, because we don't, as much as the lower tier monsters in Monster Hunter are so quirky and have so much character, we just don't see a lot of them. So I would really like to see them fleshed out, rather than, you know, just multiple versions of high tiered monsters. So like, I know Stories 2, I believe, had like Brood Tiderex, or I think it had 2 different Tiderexes. Anyways, just different monsters, less of, oh, it's this monster but the same kind of thing. So like Rathian and Pink Rathian and Yin Kutku and Blue Yin Kutku, stuff like that. Like, we don't need that. That's I don't like that. It's, especially in these games, it's really just a palette swap. There's not much difference between them. So, also, I'd like to, it looks like our character is older in this one. Like, in the first 2, our character is quite literally a kid. And you can see he's like shorter than everybody, and it's all kidified. I'd like this one to be a little bit more on the mature side, like a teenager, young adult kind of thing. We're the same size as everybody, and the monsters are a little bit bigger, because our monsters, when we fight everything else, are always shown as like small. I want to see our monsters like the same size. That'd be cool. Then I don't know. I don't have any specific monsters that I have to have. I don't think. I would just prefer different ones. Legiacris, be nice. Steve would be cool. Astalos would be good. Glavenus would be awesome. You know, the general good selection all the way around. I don't think we need Fatalis in this game. I'd prefer if there wasn't Fatalis. I don't know if we could ride Elder Dragons in the other 2 games, because I never got to that point. But I think if they are in the game, I think we do need to be able to ride them. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I also think if you can find monsters early enough on, it should not lock you out of getting them. So like we had that with a couple different monsters where we were just the monsters were too strong. We couldn't do it yet because we weren't that far into the story, but we found them in gold caves. That shouldn't happen. If we have them and hatch them, we should be able to use them. Period. I did release or put out a post for Monster Hunter Stories to see what you guys wanted as far as combat. Because as far as combat in these games, if you don't know, it's a rock, paper, scissors thing. There's technique, there's power, and there's speed. Okay, and they each coordinate with each other. So like power beats technique, technique beats speed, and speed beats power. That's it. So most monsters will have two different ways it can attack. You know, technique and power, or speed and power, or speed and technique, whatever. But it's not always super obvious which actual attack it's going to do. And the only way for you to negate most damage, not even all damage, most damage, is in a normal attack, is to counter the incoming attack. So if they attack with, say, power, you'd have to attack with speed, and you would get the primary amount of damage on them, and you'd only take a little bit of damage. You do take damage back regardless. That system, while it's okay, it doesn't feel rewarding to me as far as skill level. It's just, if you get it right, you get it right. If you didn't get it right, you're like, okay. So maybe more of a normal turn-based system, not nearly as in-depth as like Expedition 33, where you have parries and timings and stuff like that, but maybe some active stuff, or you could go with the Pokemon system, where you have a plethora of different moves you can use and blah, blah, blah. That's what the post was about, basically. It was, do you like the combat system of current Monster Hunter Stories, Monster Hunter Stories 2? Do you want to see that go forward? Or do you want something more like the Pokemon system? Or do you want something like the, like new? So, for the post, we had 6 votes. We had 3 votes for keeping the current combat system, 2 votes for a Pokemon combat system, and 1 vote for completely new combat system. So we're kind of split. If you just look at it as in a stories combat system versus a non-stories combat system, we are split down the middle. It's only 6 votes, I get it, but I just wanted a little bit of feedback so I could see where we were at here. But I feel like, if I remember correctly, back when Stories 2 came out, that was the something that was being talked about. You know, it was kind of a divide. Some people liked the system. Other people were like, it's too mundane. So I'll be interested to see what they do. I don't think we have to go full Pokemon. And we can switch this over. I need to change this. My gosh. So here's the poll. But I don't think we need to go to a full Pokemon system. But something new would be nice. So it's not just rock, paper, scissors. I think something dynamic. Something... And there's no reason why, if you're going to have the rock, paper, scissors system, that you should be taking damage as well. If you guess correctly, it should be 0 damage. And it is guess. Some monsters are a little bit easier, so while they're in a certain stance or whatever, they will be doing one of the types of attacks. While they're not in that stance, they'll be doing the other one primarily, but it's not a constant, so that can be kind of a pain in the butt. That being said, I think whatever they decide we'll be okay with. It's just I'd like to see something new. As far as other mechanics, the kinship system is interesting. I'd just like to see them flush it out a little bit more. I think it has some, some ways to grow. I also think that the gold cave compared to the regular cave system, I don't think there's a place for regular caves. Regular caves are not interesting. So when I played Stories 2, one of the reasons I stopped, other than life coming up, was my own fault, in that I'd see a cave, I'd go in the cave. Every cave. I want to see what I get. Every cave. Maybe I get something good. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. But I couldn't tell without going in. So, went into everything, kind of burnt myself out on it. Kind of dumb on my part. However, realizing that there is 0 point, and that's what we're doing in Stories currently. If you're watching the playthrough, we aren't going into normal caves at all unless it's a sub-quest cave. That's it. Otherwise, we're only going to gold caves. I don't think there's a place for regular caves. I don't think there should just be caves on the map everywhere. I think unless you walk into an area and a gold cave spawns in a random spot, there should be no caves. You should have to try and get those gold caves to spawn, and that's just the only thing you have. Because I don't know, maybe it's just me and how I'm playing it now, but I don't feel like there's a reason to go into the regular ones. And I feel like most people don't, because like the better monsters or monsties are going to be in the gold caves, so there's no reason to. And the gold caves spawn frequently enough that you can just, use those the entire time. So there's that. I am super, super excited for what's coming up. And I'm super excited to see what they do with it. Again, it does look like we are a little bit older in this game, and I do like that. I have always loved the art style that they have in these games, and I really feel like maybe like the next game, like Rise, if it would be in this art style, would be so cool. I'd love to see this art style continue on in, the more arcadey style of the games, and see what they can do with it. Just because if it's going to be arcadey, you might as well, go full into it. But yeah, no, trailer looks great. Can't wait to see what point next year this comes out. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say like early next year, because I think late next year, like September-ish, is when we get the expansion for Wilds. It doesn't make sense that they announce this before the expansion and then the expansion come out first. I feel like this is going to come out first and the expansion after that. Plus, it'll be about a year and a half, give or take, since Wilds came out, so give them a good amount of time to cook on that expansion. So, plus, you don't release them at the same time. That's just harpooning your own games. But, yeah, super interested. Can't wait to see what happens. If you guys, that's where we're going to end it. But I could just ramble on forever. I could just keep going. But if you guys did like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. All would be much appreciated. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.